Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into some really interesting material on international business. It's all about etiquette and communication, drawing specifically from Management English 1 Manners and Etiquette.
Exactly. And our mission here really is to pull out those, crucial bits of wisdom, the unwritten rules, the language stuff that, well, can make or break those international business relationships.
Yeah, those small details that actually build trust
Yeah.
or accidentally destroy it.
Right. It's all about effective collaboration, building that trust, which, ultimately leads to success. So this is kind of a shortcut for you, the listener, to get up to speed on this really critical area.
Okay, let's unpack this. Maybe start with some foundational rules. First up, punctuality.
Yeah.
We all kind of know being on time is important, but the source seems to suggest there's a deeper layer in global business.
Oh, absolutely. It goes beyond just basic politeness. What's really fascinating is how being on time or even like 5 minutes early, it immediately signals respect, serious respect for the other person's time.
And being late does the opposite.
Precisely. The source is very clear. Lateness isn't just unprofessional, it fundamentally starts that relationship off with a negative vibe, a really negative message.
So it sort of taints things before you even start talking.
Exactly. The advice is pretty straightforward. Assume there'll be traffic, assume problems, plan to be early, and, if disaster does strike because it happens,
Boy, things go wrong.
yeah, then quick notification is key. Ideally, pick up the phone. And crucially, take responsibility. Don't make excuses.
Okay, that makes total sense. Just own it. Um, Another big one for first impressions, the dress code. The source mentions how clothing communicates subconsciously.
It really does. It's a
Yeah.
powerful nonverbal signal.
Yeah.
Now, business attire has gotten more casual overall, especially in, say, tech sectors.
Yeah, you see hoodies in boardrooms sometimes.
You do. But the rule of thumb, generally, when you're uncertain, dress on the smarter side. Err towards slightly more formal.
But not too smart, right? The source mentions that could also be a problem.
That's a really sharp point.
Yeah.
Yes. Dressing, excessively smart, way over the top for the situation, that can actually create a barrier. It might make you seem unrelatable or like you don't understand their culture, their context.
So it's a balancing act.
It is. It really pushes you to ask, okay, what do my contacts actually expect me to wear? And maybe what would my own boss expect in this situation? It's about showing you understand the environment.
Right, doing your homework on the context. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Phone etiquette. I mean, we're all glued to our phones. How do they impact these crucial international meetings?
Phones, well, they're inherently distracting, aren't they? The source uses some strong language here. It says, looking at your phone, sending messages, taking calls during a meeting can be, wait for it, relationship ending.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
quite definitive.
It is. It underlines the severity.
Well-
Phones should be out of sight, completely silent, not on vibrate, silent. The potential damage to the respect you're trying to build, to your credibility, it's just rarely, if ever, worth checking that notification.
So the message you send when your phone is out is basically, this screen is more important than you.
That's exactly it. You're devaluing the meeting, devaluing the person right in front of you. It's a powerful negative statement, even if unintended.
Okay, that's a really important reminder. So we've covered some of the silent signals, being on time, how you dress, keeping the phone away. Let's shift gears a bit to the actual words we use, specific English language. The source really stresses the power of, well, seemingly simple words like please and thank you.
Yes. And it's easy to overlook them, isn't it? But using please consistently, just making it a habit, helps avoid coming across as rude or demanding. This is especially important across cultures, maybe compared to languages where thank you might imply the please. In English, please is almost always needed for politeness in requests.
Right, don't assume politeness is understood. And thank you.
With thank you, the source suggests adding a bit more detail makes it much more effective. Don't just say thanks. Maybe specify what you're thankful for. Or mention the person's name. Thank you, Sarah, for getting that report done so quickly. It makes it feel more genuine, more memorable.
That personalization makes a difference.
It does. Oh, and a small warning. Be a little careful with thanks a lot. While often genuine, it can sometimes be used sarcastically in English. Tone is everything there.
Good point. Okay, what about saying sorry? That feels like it could be a real minefield, culturally speaking.
Oh, it definitely is. This is a really sensitive area. For a sorry to land properly, it needs genuine sincerity and, crucially, accountability.
Accountability.
Oh.
How does the source explain that?
It makes a clear distinction. There's taking accountability for your part in something like, I'm sorry my actions made you feel that way. You're owning your role. That's very different from just showing empathy. Like, I am sorry to hear about the crisis your team is facing.
Ah, okay. One is owning your part, the other is expressing sympathy for their situation.
Exactly. And the advice is, if you're not actually taking accountability for something you did, be cautious about using sorry. If it could be misinterpreted as admitting fault you don't intend to admit, it might actually do more harm than good.
So, when you do need to apologize properly.
Then sincerity is key. The source emphasizes specific details. Help. What exactly are you sorry for? What was the impact? And your body language needs to match. Good eye contact, a softer, calm tone of voice, maybe speaking a little more slowly than usual. It shows you've thought about it.
That makes sense. It's about showing you truly understand the impact. Now, beyond apologies, the source also talks about softening language generally, making things less direct, especially in early stages.
Yes, precisely. Think of it like putting a softening shield around your words, especially with requests or potentially difficult feedback. It's about navigating things politely.
How do we do that? What are the tactics?
Well, modal verbs are your friend here, using words like would, could, or might instead of more direct words like want or need. So instead of I want the report by Tuesday, maybe try, would it be possible to get the report by Tuesday? Or could we aim for Tuesday for the report?
Much less demanding.
Much less. Another tactic is phrasing things as a question instead of a direct command, or using the passive voice sometimes, particularly if you want to avoid assigning blame publicly. For instance, instead of you didn't deliver the required results, you might say, unfortunately, the required results were not delivered.
Ah, so it focuses on the outcome, not the person who failed. That's
Oh.
quite diplomatic.
It can be, yes, especially when you're trying to build rapport or navigate sensitive issues without causing offense, particularly in new business relationships. It's about choosing your words carefully to maintain harmony.
So if we pull all this together, the punctuality, the dress, the phones, the specific words like please, thank you, sorry, softening language.
Yeah.
What's the big takeaway for someone trying to navigate global business more effectively?
I think the core message is about being intentional, really thinking about the impact of your actions and your words. These aren't just, rigid rules you have to memorize. They're more like acknowledgments of how profoundly these seemingly small things, actions, language choices affect trust, perception, and ultimately collaboration.
So it's about taking conscious responsibility for the messages you're sending out.
Yeah.
Both the spoken ones and the unspoken ones.
Absolutely. It's about understanding that communication is happening constantly, whether you're speaking or not. Your punctuality speaks, your attire speaks, your phone use speaks, your choice of words speaks volumes.
Thinking back on our deep dive today, what really stands out to you about this whole area of business etiquette and language?
For you, the listener, I think the key thing is recognizing that understanding these sort of accepted realities, these subtle communication signals, it's genuinely a shortcut. It helps you build stronger, more successful international relationships much faster by avoiding common pitfalls.
Yeah, it's about being genuinely well-informed, isn't it? Not just knowing facts and figures, but understanding the human connection, the silent language of respect and intent.
Couldn't have said it better. And maybe here's a final thought for you to take away and, mull over. How might intentionally applying just one of these tactics we discussed, maybe being 5 minutes early, maybe adding detail to your thank yous, maybe softening a request, how might that consciously shift the dynamic in your next important international interaction?
Could it lead to a completely different outcome? Something to think about.